I'd already used them for the amount of time that the directions said to use them, and it just wasn't, like I said, it wasn't going away. And she gave me advice without, it was funny the way she did it, because she didn't say that it was her idea. She kind of did this, like, you know, wink at me kind of thing, and she's like, well, some people some people think that you should do this. You know, being that she's a medical doctor, she couldn't really say that it was her advice, but I got it. I understood what she was saying. She basically, you know, told me breast milk is kind of a cure-all for things. Breast milk is very antibacterial, and that it can be, and this was actually bacterial conjunctivitis is what he had in his eye. So if you have a antibacterial treatment, you know, for it, that would be good. So basically, long story short, she told me to put breast milk in his eye. Or she said some people like to do that. And I looked at her like, are you nuts? But then I came home and I looked up on the internet, and it's all over the internet. Breast milk is like a cure-all. So, you know what? I went ahead and I did it, and it's definitely helping. You just put like a drop of breast milk in the eye, and I mean, it doesn't bother him at all. You know, it's not like it burns or anything. I mean, it actually seems like it's somewhat soothing to him, because it doesn't bother him at all. And it's helping his eye. It looks much, much better. They also say, you know, cuts or whatever, you know, put breast milk on it. Like I said, it's kind of a cure-all. So, just a little tip out there. What else? Oh, speaking of breast milk and all that, I've had some breastfeeding issues. He, in the very beginning, he's like, Mom, don't talk so loud. He, in the very beginning, did awesome when it comes to switching between bottle, breast, you know, back and forth, no problems at all. And I was thinking, oh my God, this is awesome. This baby, you know, I've had no problems. He just took to both right away. But, you know, I had to start using more and more and more bottles with pumped milk, because of him, you know, going to grandma's, being watched at grandma's. And, hold on a second. Okay, anyway. I found that we had to start using bottles more and more, because he was going to start being watched by grandma and stuff. And the more we did the bottle, he started having problems at the breast. Because it's a whole different, like, tongue lip movement for a nipple, bottle nipple versus breast nipple. They kind of have to move things differently. And he started having a problem keeping suction at the breast. And so he would suck a lot of air, which was very strange, because usually they suck air at the bottle. Well, he was sucking a lot of air at the breast, and he would just get very, very uncomfortable and have to burp. And he has a difficult time burping the way it is. So breastfeeding started to just get awful. But I didn't want to give it up. You know, it's like, yes, I will continue pumping so he gets the breast milk. I'm going to continue doing that for as long as I can. I mean, I'd like to do it for at least 4 to 6 months. But, you know, I love that feeling of actually breastfeeding him. It's a very bonding thing for mom and baby. You know, Tony doesn't really understand it. You know, he's like, oh, well, so you can't breastfeed him, you know, just keep pumping. And I'm like, well, I don't want to keep doing that. I want to actually be able to feed him myself. It's just any woman who's breastfed understands that. It's just it's very meaningful. I don't know. It just makes you feel very, very, very good, and I don't know. But anyway, so I had a difficult time with that, and I was trying to figure out how to get him back on the breast. And so I ended up using a nipple shield. And one of the things that was recommended on the directions of the nipple shield to help seal the nipple shield to your breast was like the nipple lanolin cream or whatever the heck it's called, to kind of put that on the breast, a little bit of it when you put the nipple shield to it, so that way it kind of sticks to the breast. And when I did that, something kind of dawned on my head, because I didn't really want to have to use the nipple shield. I didn't like that. But it kind of dawned on me when I put that cream on my breast, that maybe if I just did that, you know, so when he latched on, maybe it would help him keep a seal better. So not actually on the nipple, but around where his lips would actually be, kind of around it, the areola. So I did that, and you know what? It helped. It really, really helped. He's not losing suction nearly as badly, and he can actually nurse again, which, you know, is a huge relief to me. We still don't do it very often. But I do continue to do it, try to do it at least once or twice every single day. So I keep that fresh in his mind that yes, you know, he still knows that he can nurse from me. He still knows how to do it. I don't want to lose that, you know, not yet. So that was a big thing. I am, you know, like I said, I'm still pumping. I will continue to do that for a very long time. I pump probably 4 times a day, and every time I pump, I can get anywhere from, on the low side, I'll get about 6 ounces on the low side, to on the high side. If for whatever reason, if it's been, you know, several hours since I've pumped, production is pretty high. I've gotten to close to 14 ounces. I probably average right around 10 ounces at a time. So that means I'm, you know, pumping out, you know, 30, 40 ounces or more a day. So I think that's pretty good. I wasn't doing that for a long time. I was actually really concerned that I wasn't going to be able to pump that much. My production wasn't that good. And so I started using a supplement called fenugreek. You can get it at any like natural food store, and sometimes I think like even like Walmart or whatever will carry it on occasion. But it's called fenugreek, and fenugreek is a dietary supplement, and it does help to increase, or it promotes lactation. So if anybody out there is having problems with that, you can try fenugreek. On the bottle it says, I think, like take 1 or 2 a day, but that's just as like a regular supplement. But if you're actually trying to increase your milk supply, I would suggest taking, and this is what was told to me, I would suggest taking one like 4 times every day for, you know, 3, 4, 5 days, maybe a week, and see if that kind of ups your supply. And it really should work. It did for me. It helped quite a bit. So what else? I'm trying to speed this along because I think this is pretty long. Another thing I went to the doctor for last week, I mentioned, he is having a problem with choking. He chokes a lot. I would say on average every other or every third feeding we're going through an issue where he chokes. You know, at first it was like, okay, no big deal. Everybody chokes when people are drinking. You know, you get something going down the wrong pipe and you choke. And he gets his air back, but it scares him, and it takes, you know, 10, 20 seconds or more for him to get his air back. And it scares him, and he cries, and it scares me. Oh my God, it terrifies me. And at first I was like, okay, no big deal. We don't have him laying down when he's eating. I have him basically kind of sitting up, and I knew that was helping. But I just didn't understand why he was choking, and it got worse. It seemed like it was getting worse. It was happening more frequently. And he even had an episode on me one time that, oh, my arm. Oh, that, his lips turned blue. Terrified me. He could not get his air back, and I'm like, breathe, baby, breathe. And yeah, I know CPR. I would have used it if I had to, but poor kid could not get his air back. And yeah, his lips and everything started turning like this blue-gray color. Scared the shit out of me.